Next one is based on the terrestrial habitat. Next one is aquatic habitat. The aquatic habitat that can be able to classified into free floating, submerged, emergent, floating leaves, mangroves. These 5 types that can be able to classified based on their aquatic habitat. What is free floating? The free floating is nothing but the plant that can be able to float on the water surface. Here the roots are floating above the soil surface. Here the root that cannot be withstand on the soil surface. For example, Icarnia, Trapha, Pistia, Lemna, Wolfia, etc. are comes under the free floating hydrophytes. Next one is submerged. What is the meaning of submerged? The plant that can be able to present below the water, that is call it as submerged. Here the plant that can be completely present below the water surface, that is call it as submerged. For example, Hydrilla and Vallisneria. In this category, the roots are well developed and it can be present on the soil, that can be able to present below the water. For example, Hydrilla and Vallisneria. Third one is emergent. In this category, the root or a stem that can be able to anchored on the substrate. The substrate is nothing but soil, that can be able to present under the water, and aerial shoots that can be able to growing above the water. Here the emergent is nothing but rooted, but it can be able to float or grow on the soil. Limnophyta and Typha, these are comes under the emergent category. The fourth one is floating leafed. In this category also, the roots are well developed and anchor above the soil. Here the anchoring is very strong in nature, anchored at the bottom, but the leaves that can be able to float on the water surface. For example, Nilambo and Nymphaceae, that is nothing but lotus family and lily family. The last category is call it as mangrove. The mangrove tree is nothing but swampy trees, that is a marshy soil that can be able to present. Here the soil as well as water that can be able to present in a particular saturation. That particular saturation that can be able to produce the saline habitat that can be able to grow in the soil surface. That mangrove is nothing but a respiratory plants, because the roots that can be able to present above the soil surface. For example, Avicennia and Rhizopora are comes under the mangrove trees.